Okay, what's up, you guys? It's Adanna. So, I got asked to do Meharry, and so that's what I'm going to be doing today. Let me just set some things up on YouTube really quickly, and then we'll go from there. But right now, I don't know how many schools I've done actually. I think I've done quite a few, maybe 10. I would say, out of the 300 schools that they have. So there's a lot more schools to come. So if you are interested in me doing a school, then I suggest that what you do is you leave a comment in the comment section below so that you can tell me what school it is that you would like me to do. And then I'll see that and hopefully just be able to get to it and actually do that program for you, whatever program it is. Okay. So I was kind of skimming Meharry beforehand, just kind of looking at some of the things that they had just to see, because I hadn't really heard that much about the program. And there are some interesting things that I found out. So we're going to get into it very, very shortly. Let me just do this. And we are done. Okay, so let me share my screen with you all. I will do it this way so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. And we can get into this together. I hope you guys are like well prepared for Christmas. It's almost Christmas. I can't believe it. Like the year is already. Oh my husband is really like doing the most right now, you guys. I can't with him. Anyways, so yeah, it's almost Christmas, and I hope you guys are well prepared. Here, I just went to I just Googled. Okay, I Googled Meharry Medical College, and let me actually make this a little bit bigger and put me down in the corner. So I just Googled Meharry Medical College PA program, and it took me to this site. Okay, so it has like this nice little welcome here for us, and then it goes straight into like accreditation, mission, program outcomes, faculty, and staff. So let's get into the accreditation aspect of things, because this is what I thought was very interesting. And when I go into the admissions portion, I think we'll delve a little bit deeper into this. But it says the Meharry Medical College Physician Assistant Sciences program has applied for accreditation provisional. So provisional status is not yet like accredited. Like you're provisional because you're new, you're not continued accredited, right? So you're a new program. You're now trying to get like that continuing status. So that's really all that provisional means, okay? It says, and they've done this through ARC, Meharry Medical College Physician. Okay, let's say Meharry's PA program anticipates matriculating its first class in January of 2023. So with that being said, like their first, so that's like 2 years away. All right, so this is like a brand. So for a minute there, I was saying matriculating as in like graduating, but matriculating meaning like starting. So I feel like their first class is going to start in January 2023. It says provisionals pending achieving accreditation provisional status at June 2022's ARC-PA meeting. So next year, in the middle of the summer, June 2022, Meharry is actually expecting to get provisional status. So they are not yet accredited from what I'm reading thus far. It says provisional is an accreditation status granted when plans and resource allocation, if fully implemented as planned, of a proposed program that has not yet enrolled students appear to demonstrate the program's ability to meet the ARC-PA standards, or when a program holding accreditation provisional status appears to demonstrate continued progress in complying with the standards as it prepares for the graduation of the first class. It says the program is not yet accredited. Okay, so I mean, that's what I'm saying. Applicants for the inaugural MMCPA science cohort will be notified only after the program receives notification of the June 2022 meeting decision. So this is very interesting because we have not seen a school like this before, right? We've seen schools that have probationary status, and we've seen schools that have continuing education, continuing accreditation status, but never have we seen a school that is applying for provisional status, like their brand new program, not even on Caspa yet, because they did check to see if it was a Caspa participating program, which I expect they will probably become, but they're just not even on Caspa yet because they don't have a status. And so this is quite interesting. And I guess for all of you pre-PA students out there who are trying to apply to PA school within the next year or so, this is a school to keep on your radar, okay? All right, so missions and goals, I always like to look at these. So their mission is to increase the number of students from underrepresented groups in medicine into the PA profession. Students will be equipped with the ability to demonstrate cultural humility, provide evidence-based and compassionate care to all patients they encounter, and foster a commitment to community service in underserved populations through equity, justice, and lifelong learning. Cool, I like it. To increase the number of students from underrepresented groups in medicine into the PA profession. Metric admissions data benchmarks: greater than 85% of matriculated students will be from the URIM group, which is cool. All right. I wish I had gone to a program like that. We were less than, we were like 3%, I would say. Maybe, let's say 4%. And if I wanted to be very generous, maybe 7. Okay. Maybe we're 7%. But to be among individuals that look like me and it be the majority, that would have been really, really nice. And so I like that is one of their goals. So if that is a desire for you, then again, a school to keep on your radar. Let me just kind of close these down. I don't like when it's like that. And program outcomes, okay, cool, whatever. You can look at the program outcomes. They're pretty standard for the majority of PA programs in terms of the knowledge base and kind of interpersonal skills. So we're not going to get into that. Let's take a look at their faculty and staff. All right. So Miss Drumgold is the program director. Miss Carruthers. I actually met her at an event and she was very, very nice. So I think if you had the privilege of going to this school, she'd be a really good advocate for you. So she will be the associate program director, Mr. Moore, Dr. Jackson. So Dr. Moore and Dr. Jackson, there's a medical director and an associate medical director. We have Dr. Latta. He is the academic education director, Mr. Wyatt, Dr. Brown, and Miss Morgan is the program manager, and Miss Sudeth is the assistant. All right, let's go to learn more about their admission. Okay, to be eligible to be considered for admission to Meharry, you must go through Caspa. Okay, so Caspa opens late Thursday in April annually. However, admissions windows for MMC will be from the time Caspa opens until August 15th. So their deadline will be August 15th of, I would say, next year, because they won't get accreditation status until they won't get an accreditation status, which would be provisional status, until June of next year. Fingers crossed for them. And then they wouldn't start matriculating their first cohort until January of 2023. So they're a January start. So just keeping that in mind. Okay, let's look at the criteria. All right, so the following criteria are required for applicants interested in applying to Meharry. Applicants must have earned a bachelor's degree, okay, granted, and it should have been completed by August of next year, okay? That's what I'm rolling with, August of next year. Personal statement, you're gonna have 3 letters of recommendation. You can't have anything lower than a C for your prerequisite courses. For courses repeated, the higher of the two grades will be used in evaluation of the application. That's cool. Meharry Medical College requires submission of supplemental applications. So you would need to do that as well. All applicants born outside the United States are required to provide a TOEFL, which is cool. So they accept international graduates or international students. So that's something that, again, all of my international students that watch me and that are always like, Adanna, I'm from, you know, this country, that country, I'm from India. You know, I want to be a PA in the United States. What do I do? Really and truly, you just need to find schools that will accept international students, which this will be one of them, and then go through that application process. You'll have to use one of these three kind of like school class, you know, it's almost like a transcript match program, I guess you could say. Like they will review all of your courses and see how it lines up with the requirements for the program. All right, let's look at the prerequisite courses. Okay, the following prerequisite courses are required with an earned grade of C or higher and must be completed by the date of application being submitted. Okay, so this is something that you guys need to keep in mind. And I want to take some time to just kind of touch on this because I've done, you know, I do personal statement reviews and I do personal consulting, and all of this is kind of ran through GTCU. And so there are other consultants as well. And we've all come across like this similar, I would say, like issue when talking to our pre-PA students. And that is that when you're reading these requirements, not everybody pays close attention to some of like the wording and some of these things, right? So if it says it has to be completed by the date of the application being submitted, that does not mean that, hey, you submitted your application before the deadline of August 15th, and then you submitted your application in June. However, you're not finishing your class until July or August 1st. And, you know, that class is one of the classes that is required to get into that program. And you're saying, all right, well, I'm going to submit it anyways because I want to be early. No, that's not going to cut it. Okay. Because all of your prerequisite requirements are to be submitted and be completed, must be completed. Let me just highlight that. They italicized it and bolded it. Must be completed by the date of the application being submitted. Okay, so keep these little words and nuances in mind when you're applying to programs. You have to really read that because these little mistakes will not, like, it will prevent you from getting into PA school. Okay, at least that particular program. It says the program does not require a minimum GPA. What? Okay, y'all, look at this. There's no minimum GPA. Now, yes, okay, like, man, there's no minimum GPA. So everybody who's like, oh my gosh, my GPA is a 2.97, my GPA is a 2.78, like, you know, whatever it may be, y'all can apply to this program. And it says it right here, there's no minimum GPA. These are the programs that I tell you guys to search for, because this is a program that will give you an opportunity to be like, you know what, I am more than just my grades, right? I am more than just the first 2 years of undergrad where I didn't know like what the freak I was doing. And, you know, I was just kind of awestruck and maybe homesick or going through some stuff. It allows you to kind of explain those things away because there's no minimum GPA. So that is really cool. Okay. It says medical terminology is one of their courses. It cannot be taken for a certificate. It has to be taken for a credit, and 1 credit hour or greater is sufficient. Okay. My med term class was 3 credit hours, but there are some that are 1 credit hours. It doesn't matter. You can, just as long as it's for a credit. So you need to have human anatomy and or anatomy and physiology 1, and human physiology and or human anatomy and physiology 2. Okay, so when I went to undergrad, I had gross like mammalian anatomy, which was considered kind of like my human anatomy. It just had a cadaver lab. And then separately, we had a physiology class. And so that would have sufficed. But then there were schools that I was applying to that did not accept it as the anatomy and physiology requirement that they wanted. And so I had to go and retake, or just take in general, because I never took it before, anatomy and physiology as it is written here, anatomy and physiology 1 and 2 with a lab in summer school. So that is also, again, something else that you might want to keep in mind. If you have those classes split where it's just anatomy and just physiology, depending on the school, it may not be sufficient enough for their anatomy and physiology requirements. Okay. You'll need Gen Bio 1 and 2, Gen Chem 1 and 2, and a physiology, general physiology. You can also do abnormal or psychology. You can also do abnormal or developmental psych, I guess, in place of that general psychology, which is cool. But typically, like, general psychology is like the gateway to the other psychologies. It says AP high school course credit will be given for prerequisite courses. AP high school course credit will be given for prerequisite courses if accepted by the undergraduate college or university. However, all students will be required to complete the entire PAS program. I don't really know what this is talking about. Will be given for prerequisite courses. I don't know what that means. I mean, maybe if one of you guys are watching and you can you understand like how that's worded and what it's supposed to mean, you can let me know. It says all science prerequisite coursework must be completed within 10 years. This is also something that you need to take into consideration and keep in mind. So their gap is 10 years. There are some schools that have a 5-year limitation. Some schools have a 13-month limitation on all the prerequisites. Some schools have a 7-year limitation. This program has a 10-year limitation. Okay, so when you are applying, that's something that you're going to have to keep in mind. Make sure that if you are a non-traditional student, just meaning that you've lived a little bit of life, you're not going straight out of undergrad into PA school, then, you know, these courses will be older and they will be approaching the 10-year mark, depending on how much time you spent outside of school, like working and doing other things. So Bria, I'll answer her question. She said, would you advise applying to a beginning program as this one? Absolutely. I absolutely will, because like I said, these are the programs that kind of give you a little bit of leeway. You know, like if you are not like a stronger applicant with like a 3.78 or, you know, a 4.0 GPA and you have like 10,000 hours and all of this stuff, the programs like this, these new programs, these developing programs that may not even be accredited yet, are the ones that you should look into, because there is a probability that, hey, you know, they're going to keep on their like P's and Q's, because they're going to be getting reviewed several times throughout their provisional status. And then, you know, at the end of the day, it would have been maybe, let's say at max $100 that you may be out of if they don't get that status by June. And again, and also it's very early in the game in terms of when they are looking to get their provisional status. So if you apply to this program and others in July or in April, well, let's say May, after Caspa has opened up, you still have so many other programs that have deadlines in August, September, October, November, December, and January, and also even March of the following year, that you can actually still apply to, and, you know, not put all your eggs in one basket. But I feel like it's a really good option. All right, so I would say Jaron said, I just called them 2 weeks ago. Okay, and what happened? You called them and did they give you some information? Did you get like some good, warm and fuzzy feelings? Like, tell us about it. Caleb said, are there any requirements for physics or calculus? It doesn't show any math requirements for the prerequisites. So no physics, calculus, or statistics. You literally just need med term, anatomy and physiology, general biology, and general chemistry. You don't even need organic chemistry or biochemistry, which again is great for a lot of people. And then your psychology. So a good school to look into. Is there an expiration date for core classes such as anatomy and physiology? Yes. So Jamila, your expiration date would be 10 years, okay? And it's specifically, again, for your prerequisite courses. It says it right here. All science prerequisite coursework must be completed within 10 years. And so obviously your psychology is a social science, so you can ask them, hey, you know, does psychology count as the science prerequisite coursework? If it does, then you just know that it has to be completed within 10 years. But for sure, you know that your anatomy and physiology, your Gen Bio and Gen Chem will need to have been completed within a 10-year mark of applying to this program. So if you graduated in 2002, then obviously there's going to be a lot of your courses that would have been, I would say, old by the time you are trying to matriculate by 2023. If you graduated like 2010 or up, you'll be approaching that like mark. Okay, so and it's really, really important to gauge that, because there's a lot of people that are going to have to be playing like catch up when it's like, okay, well, my class isn't yet old enough, but it's approaching that 10-year mark, or it's right there on the cusp. But then when you apply, by the time you matriculate or you plan to matriculate, it would have been 10 years. And then you don't think that, oh, I need to actually repeat this class because I'm going to be trying to apply next year. God forbid I don't get in. So again, these are all things that you need to just keep in mind. Where is the program located? It is located in Tennessee. All right, let's get back to it. It says applicant preference. Okay, so the program gives preferences to applicants whose life, experience, and academic career align with the mission. And part of the mission is to admit members of that underrepresented minority group. Okay, so that's another thing. If you graduated from an HBCU, military veterans, anyone with a master's degree or higher in a healthcare related field, prior healthcare experience. And that's one thing we didn't see. There wasn't any type of requirement or ask for healthcare experience hours or shadowing hours. So again, these are all things, and who knows, maybe as time passes, because we still have about 6 or so months, 7 months before their deadline for the ARC to accreditate them kind of comes into play. Maybe some of this stuff will be updated and things will be added, but as of right now, that's not there. And even as of right now, they're not on Caspa. So I feel like, let me see if I can go share this screen with you all, my Caspa screen, just to show you what exactly I'm talking about. And you can see specifically that they are not currently on Caspa. Where is my participating programs? Okay, so here we have a list of all of the Caspa participating programs. Okay, it gives you the breakdown of the types of deadlines, and you can just do Caspa in Google, and this, a web page will pop up. And so this is Meharry, and right now Caspa has it lined up in alphabetical order. And so we can just go all the way down to the M's, okay? We can start from MA, and it's not here. It's not listed. So not even on Caspa. And we can go down to the developing programs. So developing programs for 2021, 2022. And again, not here because if you remember, they don't plan on admitting students until 2023. So they're going to be on the newest list of developing programs for 2022-2023 cycle. So again, that's just something to keep in mind. It's a good option for some of my pre-PA students that are like, hey, you know, like, what are my chances of getting into this program or that program? Your chances of getting into this program is probably pretty high, you know, depending on what your stats are, because their requirements aren't as stringent. Jamila asked, no GRE? Nope, it didn't say anything about a GRE. Nothing about a GRE here. It tells you the criteria, which again is just really your prerequisites, your letters of recommendation, and your personal statement. Nothing about the GRE or the PA CAT. Clementine says Vasc Tech. Is that a school that you want me to review or look at? Let me know. Karma, what do PAs do? So PAs do quite a bit, and it just kind of depends on what specialty you're in, but we are just kind of extensions of physicians. So we see patients, we diagnose them, we treat them, we come up with treatment plans. We have patients of our own, as well as if you're in the hospital, you may be working with a team. We prescribe medicine, like we do medicine. So it just kind of really depends on your particular specialty. So if you were a pediatric PA, you know, a little sick kid came in, they would come in and they might see you as the pediatric PA, and you would kind of take a history of the present illness. And so you do like signs and symptoms of what the child has been going through for the past few days or few weeks, whatever it is these symptoms are. And then from that, you know, we're taught to go through our differential diagnosis of what the possibilities of this may be. And then we'll ask for some labs, and likely then go ahead and give them some treatment, and then send them home. And, you know, they may come back and see you again, depending on if you're at an urgent care as a pediatric PA or if you are kind of more primary care based. But we do it all. Not on Caspa because applications had to be submitted in August, I believe. So that's the thing, right? This says August 15th. And so if it's what I find interesting is it says August 15th, but it doesn't matter if it's August 15th, because I can show you here on some of these other schools. Let me share this again, share my screen again for you all. Because it doesn't really matter when your deadline is for Caspa. It will have all of the schools there. Like, they don't drop schools off just because your deadline has passed, right? So like Advent Health, their deadline is November 1st. We are in December. The program is still there because it is a participating program for the 2021. And that's where we have to be really specific, 2021, 2022 application cycle. Even here, Baylor, their deadline was all the way in August. Augsburg, same thing, August deadline. Concordia, September deadline. CUNY was a December deadline. And if we go down to these developing programs down here, some of these have late program deadlines of April, and they're still here, while others had early deadlines of October and again, December. And here's some others that are a little bit later, which is March and even April of next year. So the deadline date doesn't really, that will not dictate whether or not you're on Caspa or not. I think the important thing to note is that this particular program, they, let me see if I can share that part of my screen again with you guys so you can see specifically what I'm talking about. Admissions. Okay, so again, this particular program, when we go back up, all right, let's see where, oh wait, no, I think I have to like back. Let me see. So I'm just trying to get back to that main page where it talked about their accreditation. I don't think this is, let me see. Let's go back to this main page. So here on the main page, when you type it into Google and it takes you to the main page, it talks about the program's accreditation, and things to like just keep in mind is that its first matriculating class is not scheduled to happen until January. It's not projected to happen until January 2023. And when we looked at Caspa, their participating programs was for the 2021-2022 cycle. So they would not have Meharry on here because it's not in the cycle that they're that they're talking about. Meharry will likely be added to Caspa for April of next year, when they are opening up that 2022-2023 cycle. And it says it here that this program is not yet accredited. And again, that's something else that that they would need. They would need like a provisional accreditation status to also, I believe, to be on Caspa. And that's not happening until June of 2022. So next year, June 2022 is when they will be hopefully getting their provisional accreditation status, and then they plan on admitting their first cohort of students in January of 2023. So that's something to keep. Oh, you said okay, never mind. But I'm glad that you said that, because I just wanted to clarify that for anybody who had any, I guess, confusion on what this program was all about in terms of when it was going to start and, you know, what their requirements are, because again, there are not that many requirements or that many like really hardcore requirements, like no GRE, no PA CAT. Like if you never want to take another standardized test in your life, right now, this is the school to apply to. If you have a lot of healthcare experience hours, if your GPA is solid, you know, maybe like a 3.2-ish, and, you know, maybe you have a master's degree, like this is a school to think about applying to. Caleb said, when working for a physician assistant program that is unaccredited, isn't there always the off chance of the program being completely shut down if they never get accredited? Yes. Yes. And so that is the risk that, you know, like students who apply to the program and get accepted will take if you're now putting down like a seat deposit. It's the risk that, hey, in June, we don't get that provisional accreditation status. However, if you would like, one thing that you can do is you can wait until that June 2022 meeting has already occurred and apply in July once you know for sure that they've been accredited. But just keep in mind that their deadline is August 15th of that year, and Caspa can take, like, that's summertime is a really, really busy time for Caspa, and it can take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks to get your Caspa application verified, meaning like they go through all of your application and look at all of your transcripts from your various different schools that you've gone to, and then have given you like a GPA and all of that. So just something that you want to keep in mind, because you want to make sure that your application is verified in time so that you can meet that deadline of applying to the program. But another thing to also keep in mind is that this program does not have a minimum GPA. So one less thing that you really have to be super concerned about. And although it doesn't have a minimum GPA, that doesn't mean that you can come up in there with like a 1.9 or a 2.0. You still need to like have like some semblance of like, yeah, you know what? here's the trend. I may have done bad in my first 2 years or my first year, but I've gotten better consistently. I've worked my behind off in, this healthcare job. I've done my research, and then you also make that shine in your personal statement. Okay. Transparent Canada. Hello, I'm a physician assistant in Ghana. What are the master's options can we do? I don't know specifically what you're asking me. If you're asking a master's option that you can do in Ghana or an option that you can do here in the States. Yeah. So, okay. So you're asking if an international PA can apply. So yes, of course you can apply. It shows that they accept international students. So that's not a thing. You can absolutely apply. However, you just have to make sure that you go through and go to one of those few sites. Let me just go back and make sure that I'm able to stream that for you. Admissions. So there is these sites here that if you're an international student, you have to take your transcripts, your schoolwork, your coursework, and send it through one of these sites so that it can get essentially like vetted, and they can see like what you've done, what you've accomplished, how does that line up with the prerequisites that they're asking for, and then based on that, you'll get offered an interview or not. And I'm pretty sure you'll also need to have like a visa or something, maybe a green card, to make sure that you're, eligible to stay in the United States and study. Okay. More questions. Could I use my master's to do MU? I don't know what MU is. I'm sorry. If you're asking if you could use your master's to like apply to Meharry, then yeah, you would be given preference if you had a master's degree. So yeah, but I don't know if that's really what you wanted to know. Jamila says, I have everything done and have 7 years of direct patient care, but my GPA is bad. It's a 2.45. So I've been wanting to do a post-bac starting this summer to help with my science GPA, to help that get stronger. Okay. It says, would I potentially be ready to apply for the 2023 cycle? Well, I guess the thing is, when is your post-bac, right? When would it end? Because for me, I always encourage you guys to apply early. So if you're doing it this summer, we're in the fall, actually. So we're in the fall. So this summer, meaning the 2022 summer, then, and if it were to finish by when, if it were to finish by July, potentially you might be able to be ready. But I think that would be cutting it really close, because their deadline is August 15th for their applications. So with that deadline, you really would have needed to complete everything well before that. And so I would say it would have needed to be completed by May of this upcoming year, so that you have given yourself enough time, 3 months worth of time, to apply early, and get that in. And you're making your own post-bac, so just kind of taking your own courses. Got it. All right. DE, hi. AD. I'm from New York, and the schools that offer the programs are very competitive. This school makes me a little skeptical. I would consider it only because you're talking about it. Well, that's cool. I'm glad that you would consider it, but I think that as pre-PA students, we have to be very open-minded, right? And so yes, there are lots of PA programs out there that are super competitive. And again, there are over 300 PA programs. So this is just one, and it's not even on the true list of all the PA programs. So this is a brand new program that is grassroots program now starting off. And really and truly, all PA programs started like this, where they have to go and try to get accreditation status. Even the program that I went to, I was the third graduating class of that program. So the students that graduated first, their first graduating class, they went through this whole process of applying to a program that doesn't yet have an accreditation and, you know, like kind of sticking with them and seeing how that would go. But Meharry is a like tried and true medical college, and they graduate really, really intelligent medical doctors. I know a few of them myself. I went to school with some of them in my undergraduate degree. And so I'm very, if it was like some school that I'd never really heard of in my life, then I would be like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, I don't know, like a little bit more skeptical. But because I am familiar with like their track record, I'm a little bit more on board with telling you guys about this program and encouraging you to look into it yourselves and see if it's something that you would actually benefit from as a pre-PA student. And Jamila, you're saying that you're taking 2 science courses at a time. And I think that that's reasonable, but if you would like to apply to this particular program, I say whatever science, I would encourage you to try to get everything completed by May, so that again, you would be applying to Caspa like in June, July, and they would be on your radar so that you don't miss that August 15th deadline, because you can't apply to a school after the deadline has already passed. They're not going to accept your application. Okay. All right. Thank you guys so much for this school. I don't know who asked for it, but I'm really glad that you did, because it was an interesting one, one that I wasn't really like expecting in terms of their accreditation status, but cool nonetheless. If you guys have other programs that you want me to review, please go ahead and leave that in the comment section below. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to my channel right now. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can know exactly when I come out with a new video. Make sure that you join me again on Sunday and then the following Tuesday, because I have videos for you guys every Sunday and Tuesday. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, amazing Christmas. I know I plan on having one as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.